What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. All right, in this video, I'm actually running over to a job site for a large remodel on a main floor of a fairly old home. And a lot of what's going on is structural. We had to open up a lot of walls. We're adding new windows. It's gonna be a brand new kitchen, but we raised the ceiling in this area and actually restructured a few things, and that required us to go down into the basement and add structure as well, some C-channel to the existing girder beam down there. And per our IECC requirements for the building department, we actually have some things to do energy-wise, and I'm gonna walk you guys through air gapping and what types of action has to be taken in order to suffice the air gapping requirements, and what kind of goes into that as far as staging ahead of time, thinking through the project ahead of time. So when you get to this point, you're not going to be stuck, or if you get past this point, you start closing walls in and you get to the end and you got to do more testing, like a blower door test, which is what's required at the end of this project, and you don't hit those numbers, then you have to actually go back, retrace some of your work in order to get those numbers to hit a certain requirement. And it really depends on the building department too, but IECC has their own requirements. So there can be some amendments to the local building codes. Obviously, make sure you always check on those before you get any work started, so you know exactly what you're up against. And I did a little planning ahead. Normally I do this on older homes where I have a blower door test done at the beginning of the project, because before all the air gapping and the insulation that we're going to be doing, I know that number's probably not going to hit IECC requirements based on the construction age. So I have that number in my back pocket now, so when we go ahead and finish this project and do our final blower door test for the building department, we are going to be able to break down a percentage, and basically that number before and after is going to show that we've done enough per IECC and the local building codes to suffice our energy requirements, whether or not we can actually hit what's sometimes very unrealistic numbers for an older home. That's why I do it that way. So I planned ahead knowing that's one thing we need to do before we get started with the project, and now knowing that we're at this point and we're gonna hit all the air gapping we can without tearing the house completely apart, we'll be fine. And this will suffice us for our final blower door test and energy requirements. So I'm gonna head over there. I'm gonna walk you through what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you the type of materials and actions that we're going to take, and you guys get a really good idea of how we air gap for our energy codes. So let's get on over there. All right, so here we are on the job site. It was very loud, so I decided to do a voiceover instead of trying to talk on the camera and have you guys kind of fight over some of the noise. So air gapping is really just basically sealing up all the holes in a house, for lack of a better term, to better seal the home in general. Especially during remodel projects and older homes, you can find a lot of areas where it's going to be open. You have literal gaps where air is getting in the home inefficiently. I'm not talking about roof venting of any sort. I'm talking about around windows and doors, as you see here. Foaming around those needs to be upgraded. If it has not been done at all, it needs to be added. And you basically want to go ahead and find every penetration on every exterior wall, and you want to foam that in with a product like I'm using here, which is a fire blocking rated product, because we're also sealing up all cavity areas of the home from electrical, mechanical, and plumbing penetrations. And it does two things. It seals up the home better, so we have a more efficient home during energy code upgrades. And we also are making sure that we're upgraded on our fire codes to prevent fire from spreading within walls itself. So first thing I would recommend is going and getting a good applicator gun to use along with the closed cell foam that we're applying here. Again, the fire blocking foams are going to be of the orange variety. And what you're going to do is you're basically going to find every single penetration within the floor structure itself, and with every exterior wall. You want to fill every open penetration, whether it has Romex, ductwork, or plumbing running through it, or it's just a regular opening. Anything that you see, you want to seal up. Okay, so we're closing in all of our drafting within and out of the home. This is going to include areas where there's attic space and attic wall. If there's any penetrations, like I said, where Romex is running up into the attic or up into the second floor, Again, you want to make sure that all of your gapping and any exposed framing is sealed up along windows and doors. And the trick with using spray foam is not to overuse it. So obviously, as you're foaming in all of your penetrations and your joints between framing members, you want to run it, especially when you're first doing it, you want to run it at a thin application, let it expand, because as it dries, it's going to expand. And if you do that and you use too much of it around your windows and doors especially, you can actually push up against the jamb and start to actually create a problem for opening and closing of those components. So as you can see here, you do it lightly, and then you let it go ahead and fill in the cavity, and you want to come back a little bit later and make sure that all those cavities are filled. The other thing you want to make sure you do is any outlets around any of the exterior walls are foamed as well. Again, it's not just penetrations within the framing members themselves, but also within the wall, such as an outlet or some ductwork that's going to the exterior of the home. All of that needs to be foamed and gapped, sealed. So, keeping all of that in mind, you also want to make sure that you're running anything like we did here with a vaulted ceiling. We are now actually removing the roof assembly as far as the drafting is concerned. So, we're not using it to vent the roof anymore because the actual attic space has now been removed. Vaulted ceilings don't have any airspace that's needed, so we go ahead and close cell foam all of that in at the end of the project right before we do drywall, so we can hit our new R values and basically upgrade per our IECC requirements. So we want to make sure that any gapping that was left there intentionally during the original construction is filled in, so we can get a better quality seal on the exterior of the home itself. Okay, so as you can see, air gapping or air sealing provides two things for the home. It upgrades the energy factors by actually sealing in any sort of leakage or gapping in the home itself to prevent transfer of air in and out of the home. And it also provides a better fire rating. So we're actually blocking any sort of assemblies that would, if a fire was to break out in those assemblies, prevent it from spreading to other parts of the home or the structure itself. We're also doing this air sealing, so when we do upgrade the insulation, like in this project, where we're required to upgrade our R value within the attic ceiling and the wall assemblies, we don't want any sort of leakage to kind of combat that upgrade of R value, meaning in this particular project, we're upgrading our R value to an R21 on exterior walls, and with a 2x4 construction, that forces us into a spray foam, a closed cell spray foam condition where we're going to do an R7 value per inch, which will get us to that R21, a little bit more than that value. Also, we're doing a closed cell foam up against the roof rafters, which we had to do some structural work to allow us to vault the ceilings. And in that case, we actually had to add furring strips as well, so we had enough space between the underside of the sheathing and the bottom of our new roof rafters on our sistered assembly to get us above an R49, which is required in our area. So all of this is done, and if we're not doing our air gapping or air sealing, then it kind of dilutes the process with all of the upgrades of insulation. So between those two things, we actually have done a great value to the home energy-wise. And you got to make sure that you walk every part of the structure where anything is opened up, and you have the ability to get in there and air seal or air gap those joints, holes, penetrations, whatever it is. So when you come back with your new insulation, all of that is sealed in a correct manner and allows the home to operate more efficiently per the energy codes that are required. All right, hopefully that all makes sense. If you got questions, like always, drop them in the comments below. I hope this is at least a good introduction into what needs to be done as far as your IECC requirements and your air gapping or air sealing. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It really, really, really helps everyone on YouTube spread the videos. When you don't hit the thumbs up or even the thumbs down if you hated it, it doesn't give us enough exposure to move the video through, and with those algorithms, there you are. So appreciate all the support. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the bell for notifications for future videos. And as always, guys, keep building.